Hello everybody, it's Non-C News here, and today we've got a lot of breaking updates today. So the first news is coming from the UN meetings that we're discussing a little bit in yesterday's video, and we've gotten a little bit of more news coming from this direction. So if you didn't know, the UN meetings are currently being held in New York, and a lot of nations have attended, and including President Zelensky of Ukraine, and we'll be just getting into his statements first, and we'll be going through practically all the important statements at the UN meeting. So first, regarding Zelensky, he stated, Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, accuses Russia of planning to attack nuclear power plants all throughout Ukraine when winter hits Ukraine. At the sidelines of the meeting of the UN, President Zelensky also met with the Turkish President Erdogan in the US in New York. So they both discussed strengthening the strategic partnership between Ukraine and Turkey, and they focused on expanding trade, investments, and economic cooperation, and Turkey's involvement in Ukraine's reconstruction efforts. The leaders also discussed Zelensky's victory plan, partially emphasizing the importance of free navigation in the Black Sea and Turkey's leadership in this matter. After Zelensky met with the Turkish president, he also met with the Finnish president. Zelensky said that he had a very productive meeting with the Finnish president, Alexander Stubb. They discussed the battlefield situation, Ukraine's needs, and efforts towards achieving a just peace. The conversation also covered defense cooperation, including joint drone production. After that, we've got news that there's an ongoing the head of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg, and Zelensky meeting happening right now at this very time of recording. So Jens Stoltenberg uploaded a tweet on X stating that an important meeting with my good friend President Zelensky at the UN meeting in New York is happening. We both agreed that Ukraine's future is in NATO. We will continue to work together to bring that day closer and to help Ukraine prevail in its fight of freedom. After that, we've also got news that Zelensky met with the Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, where we haven't gotten the full results right now, but we've gotten news that both countries have agreed to, of course, increase development between each other. Now let's head to the Iranian president. So the next news coming from the UN meeting is that the Iranian president took the floor at the UN Assembly. So the Iranian president stated that we must not allow Lebanon to become another Gaza at the hands of Israel. Hezbollah cannot stand alone against a country that is being armed and supported by the US and the West. So he said this in New York. So he also stated that we are ready to sit at the negotiating table with the Europeans and the Americans on the Russian-Ukrainian war. And he also said the Islamic Republic of Iran has never supported Russia's aggression on Ukrainian territory. Iran may have sent missiles to Russia in the past, but there has been no such supply since I took office. After the Iranian president, the Jordan King Abdul II at the United Nations stated that we call on everyone to support Jordan's demand for the permanent delivery of humanitarian aid to Gaza. And we've also got news that the Argentinian president stated that Argentina will abandon the position of a historical neutrality that characterized us and will be at the forefront of the fight in defense of freedom. And we've got news that the Turkish president also has said some words at the UN Assembly. So the Turkish President Erdogan has called on the UN member states that have not yet recognized Palestine to take actions, urging them to stand on the right side of history. Erdogan, the president of Turkey, also said that he condemned world leaders for ignoring the violence against women and children in Gaza, criticizing those who turn a blind eye to Israel's actions. He also said that Israel has turned its prisons into concentration camps. Gaza has become the biggest graveyard of women and children. Over 17,000 Palestinian children killed in Gaza, the Turkish president added. And his last statement is that Erdogan is now calling on UN member states to recognize the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. So here. So now let's get back into the UN meeting. We've gotten some news that the Russian ambassador to the UN also stated that the resolution of the conflict in Ukraine is impossible without addressing the violations of the rights of the Russian-speaking population. He expressed hope that Zelensky's government will not be able to completely destroy Ukraine and its people. The Russian diplomat also warned that Russia will continue its special military operation if the West does not allow the removal of the cancerous tumour represented by the Kiev government. So, very interesting news. And the last statements at the UN. Well, this is not all the statements of the UN. I'm just going over the quick points, the most interesting ones. And now we're going to go into the Hungarian Foreign Minister. So the Hungarian Foreign Minister, Peter, said that Western countries have not yet given up Russian energy resources. They continue to do business with Russia, even while publicly denying it, said the Hungarian Foreign Minister during the political discussion at the 79th session of the UN General Assembly. So that's all the news I've gotten from the UN meeting. Sorry, that was a bit of talk in there, but let's just get into the next news, which will be in Mexico. So we've got news that in this state here, Guerrero, I think that's how you pronounce it, Guerrero or something like this. I'm not very good at pronouncing these names. But we've got news that more than 200,000 people were left without electricity in this Mexican state after the Category 3 hurricane hit this state. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, this is the only video we've gotten about this. So we can see like electric line like blew up or something. So we've got news that over 200,000 people are left without electricity in this state. Now let's go into Alaska. So we've got news that two 95 MS long-range bombers of the Russian Aerospace Forces performed scheduled flights over neutral waters of the Bering Sea, so near Alaska. The flight duration exceeded 11 hours. Su-35 jets and Su-SM aircraft also escorted the long-range bombers. The flight was performed in strict compliance with international rules on the use of airspace. So this was stated by Russia. So we've gotten some videos of this. So you can see these Russian bombers take off with the Russian jet fighters behind them, escorting them. So very interesting news, and I'll keep you updated if anything else happens from there. We've also got news coming from the military exercises that Russia and Belarus is undergoing. So we've got more videos. We talked about this a lot in previous videos. We talked about how Belarus and Russia are conducting military exercises. We've got more videos, more training that's happening. So if we can just see here, we can just see more training. It seems like they're doing some like tests of like going through buildings, like military style. So very interesting news, and I'll keep you updated on that. And probably now the biggest news today. Russia's updated its nuclear doctrine. So Russia's updated nuclear doctrine expands the list of countries to which nuclear deterrence is applied, Putin stated during the Security Council meeting. The Russian president also added that aggression against Russia by non-nuclear countries, together with a nuclear power, will be viewed as an all-right attack. We've also got news in this nuclear doctrine. An existential threat to Russia posed by conventional weapons will provoke Russia to respond in a nuclear strike. Russia may consider resorting to nuclear weapons after receiving unimpeachable evidence regarding a mass enemy missile or UAV launch, or when these weapons cross into Russian territory, Putin added. Russia also stated that it has a right to use nuclear weapons in case of aggression against Belarus too. So, very interesting statements. So that was at least like 4 or 3 new points in Russia's nuclear doctrine. So very concerning news. We've also gotten some news coming from Reuters. So I'm not sure if this is true. I'm not sure. So just take this with a grain of salt. Apparently Russia is negotiating with the Houthis. So these are like a rebel group in northern Yemen. So Russia is apparently negotiating with the Houthis via Iran to transfer them long-range AWACS anti-ship missiles to destroy Western ships. So there's been no decision that has been made yet on transferring these P-800 missiles to Yemeni rebels. New meetings are planned in Tehran in the coming weeks, according to Reuters. Let's get back into Russia, where we've got news that Russia's national debt is to grow. The finance minister of Russia said Russia's state debt is expected to grow marginally and can reach 18% of gross domestic product, so that's GDP, as the government continues to borrow funds to plug a budget gap, the finance ministry said on Tuesday. So I'll keep you updated on that. The last news coming from Russia is coming from Omsk. I think that's how you pronounce the name. So in Omsk, Russia, 2 school children broke into an air base and burned the Mi helicopter. So you can see here in the bottom left corner, 2 school children broke into an air base apparently and set an Mi-8 helicopter on fire. And we've got the results of this in your bottom left corner. And we've got news that the teenagers who burned the Mi-8 helicopter are accused of terrorism and they face up to 20 years in prison. So we've actually got videos of them. So the Russian special forces stormed into the house of them and actually detained them. So very sad news and very unfortunate. Now let's head to Ukraine, where we've got news that the Netherlands announced a new support package for Ukraine worth about 210 million euros, aimed at restoring critical infrastructure. The Dutch foreign minister stated that the Ukrainians are preparing for a harsh winter and need help with repairs. So the Netherlands are going to be transferring 210 million euros to try and restore critical infrastructure. And we've also gotten some news coming from Ukrainian ministers, sorry. So Ukraine's invitation to NATO is a part of Zelensky's victory plan. So this was stated by a Ukrainian official, Andriy Yermak. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, this is the official. So we've got news that Ukraine's invitation in NATO is a part of Ukraine's victory plan. So I'll keep you updated on that. We've got some news coming from the Hungarian foreign minister. We talked a little bit about him at the UN meeting. He said that Hungary stands against allowing Ukraine to strike deep into Russian territory. We've got news that the Slovak Prime Minister also received another death threat. So the Slovakian Prime Minister, Robert Fico, is threatened again. Today, at the Chancellery, the government of the country received an envelope addressed to Fico, the Prime Minister of Slovakia. Inside of the envelope was a bullet. So I'll keep you updated on that. We've got news coming from Prague, the capital city of the Czech Republic. Finding a teacher in the Czech Republic is becoming increasingly difficult. Officials are talking about a catastrophic situation. The Ministry of Education wants to solve the problem of the shortage of teachers in some other parts of the country by increasing the number of students in pedagogical facilities. So it seems that the Czech Republic is experiencing some bad teacher problems at this current moment. Now let's head to the capital city of Finland, more specifically coming to Finland's parliament in Helsinki. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see the Finnish parliament being vandalized in red paint. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see these people spray these red paints. So apparently these are eco-activists who painted the Finnish parliament in Helsinki. So I'm not really sure why they did this. All I know at this current moment is that they are eco-activists. So we've got news that the Finnish parliament is now smeared in red paint. So I'll keep you updated on that. We've also got news coming from France's new interior minister. So the French new interior minister promises to tighten immigration. The French new interior minister, Bruno Rouillot, has announced plans to toughen measures against illegal migration and increase security, reflecting a rightward shift in society. He pledged to more aggressively deport illegal migrants and limit the issuance of residence permits. So he said that my goal is to put an end to illegal entry into France and increase the number of exits, especially from illegal immigrants, because you can't stay in France if you have already entered the country. So this was stated by the French new interior minister. Now let's head to Italy. Well, when talking about migrants, we're going to go into Italy in this island here that is actually a part of Italy. So yesterday we got news that 788 people arrived in one day on this island, and the national government says that criminal groups are using illegal migration channels for smuggling. The issue will be discussed at the government in Rome at the end of September. So far in Italy, there's been a record of 45,000 migrants have arrived in Italy since the beginning of the year, but this has significantly decreased than last year, where it was 132,000 in the same period last year. We've also got news coming from Russia's satellite deal with Western African countries. Russia is apparently in a satellite deal with Western African countries. Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso have announced a deal with Russia which will see them acquire telecoms and surveillance satellites. The three West African countries have also been combating rebels and terrorists in the north of their country for years now and have turned to Russia for military support. These satellites will also help to monitor response to floods, droughts, fires, and other emergency situations. So Russia is in a satellite deal with these three African nations, so Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. And talking about Burkina Faso, we've also got news that Burkina Faso has taken a huge interest in joining BRICS. So Burkina Faso's Prime Minister announced that the country's desire to join BRICS at a meeting with the Russian ambassador. So he said joining BRICS is going to combat the domination of the dollar and the euro. So I'll keep you updated on that. We've also got news coming from Israel, where we've got news that apparently a Yemeni Houthi kamikaze UAV has crashed on the coast of Elliot on Israel. So it's Israel's only port in the Red Sea here. Now we've got more news coming from Israel that the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, called on Lebanese population to stay away from houses and places that the Israeli Defense Forces consider that are hosting Lebanon's Hezbollah weaponry, stating that Israel is now at war with Hezbollah and not the Lebanese people, said the Prime Minister of Israel. We've also got news that Israel has struck the Lebanon capital in Beirut. So this Israeli attack has been stated that it's apparently killed a senior Hezbollah official, and I'll keep you updated on that situation. We've also got news coming from Azerbaijan. The first Azerbaijani-made laser weapon has been shown in the capital city of Azerbaijan in Baku. So its weight is about 900 kilograms and the power of the laser sources is about 30 kilowatts, Sputnik correspondent reported. The laser weapon are placed on the light armoured vehicles and can be used to combat airborne targets. Now let's probably go into one of the biggest news today. So we've got news that China has launched the first ISBM into international waters in 44 years. Beijing confirmed the test launch, so China has launched an intercontinental ballistic missile into the Pacific Ocean. So Beijing has confirmed the test with a dummy warhead into the Pacific Ocean on Wednesday as part of a quote-unquote routine training, end of quote, after warning the countries concerned in advance. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, this is the type of missile they launched. So the missile they used is the latest DF-41 intercontinental ballistic missile with a launch range of about 12,000 kilometers and capable of delivering 10 nuclear warheads to their targets at a speed of Mach 25. And if we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see some residents in in some places actually film the Chinese missile heading to the Pacific Ocean. And one last news coming from China is that China has successfully launched 8 satellites using the Long Mark 3 carrier rocket from a satellite launch center near the sea area of Haiyang, Shandong. So all satellites entered their designated orbits, achieving a perfect mission. Now let's go to New Zealand, where we've got news that a strange species was discovered near New Zealand. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, people have made a new discovery in New Zealand, and you can see here in the bottom left corner, this is called the ghost shark, and it's a new discovery of the species. So very interesting news. And the last news coming today is coming from the president of Paraguay. He stated that he had denounced the fraud of Nicolas Maduro, so the leader of Venezuela, and the persecution that followed the elections in Venezuela. So that's all the news I actually have for you today. I am Non-Scene News. I'll try and provide you news that medias around the world do not show you. I do these videos hopefully daily, so consider subscribing and liking. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.